Well, we might be about halfway through summer already. I don't know when that happened.
I don't know either.
But there is still time for a summer vacation. And why break the bank on flights when you can go on a good old-fashioned road trip?
That's right. Joining us now on the couch with tips on how to plan a road trip from start to finish is Condé Nast Travelers Associate Director and road tripper extraordinaire Megan Spurrell. Megan, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So other than picking a destination, let's just start from the beginning. What is the first thing someone needs to do when planning a road trip?
So, okay, the old adage is the journey, or it's about the journey, not the destination.
Yes.
I also think it's about the people and the dynamics and creating a good atmosphere. You need to really understand, we were just talking about this, the needs of everyone on the trip, right? Do you have people who like to get up and at 'em? Do you have people who like to be spontaneous, or do you need things a little more planned out? Having a sense of that before you plan the itinerary is crucial. You have to be kind of realistic about what you're working with so that everyone can have a good time.
Now, picking your route, I am sure, is an important part of any road trip, no matter the length of it. And it's easy to say, yes, you take the scenic route. But if you're talking about the people that you're doing this with, if you've got kids in the back who aren't going to appreciate the scenic route, maybe they're a little anxious to get there, it may not be your best choice. So how do you go about picking the stretch of road you use?
So you can also do little stints of scenic route. So scenic byways, you can look up lists of these, much like state beaches or national parks. They're protected because they're gorgeous. So look at where you need to go, you know, your point A to point B, and you can find little stretches and maybe just do a portion of it and make it sort of, especially if you have kids, the event. You know, at this time in the afternoon, we're going to be doing a really pretty 1-hour drive, and then you can kind of get back on the more efficient route.
Yeah, so doing that is something that I know a lot of folks will find interesting. At the same time, other folks might be more concerned about safety and making sure that whatever route they're taking is a safe one. So how can people go about making sure that their route is going to be safe?
I think, you know, if you are doing something like a scenic byway, you can anticipate it's going to be a little more maintained, so that's a good thing. There are going to be more people, more traffic. You might slow down a bit. But to me, safety is really about, so I grew up with Thomas guides, but now it's like you need your phone charged, you need offline maps on Google Maps on your phone. So if you lose service on these beautiful coastal roads, for example, you can figure out where you're going.
That's really important.
Yeah,
right?
and I think if you take those precautions, you just know that you're not going a route that's going to have you in the middle of nowhere for 4 hours straight with nowhere to stop. I think you take those measures and then you can make any route fairly safe.
I'm not sure I even realized that Google Maps had an offline routes feature.
Oh.
So you turn it on, and if you lose service, you will still be able to have it direct you.
Yeah, so you can go and you zoom in on the area you're going to be traveling, and you just save it offline. And I do this with every city I go to as well. So if you lose service, or if you're out of the country, for example, you can see everything when you're disconnected.
Anything else you recommend folks bring with them on a road trip?
Okay, so I have a kind of funky one, but I think you should always bring like a car charger, external batteries, because we rely on our phones so much. But there's also this thing called a NOCO boost, and it's a external battery that can jumpstart your car. And like if you're traveling with a bunch of people for a whole week, someone might leave a light on at some point, and you're not going to use it much. But if your car dies, you can just plug this in, push a button, and it jumpstarts it.
Wow, that seems like
it's
a game
amazing.
changer, right?
I always bring it, and it has saved me.
You always do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's really good to know. So when you're out on the road, what are some good tips to find a good meal or cheap gas?
So Google Maps as well. You know, now you can just put in gas along the route and see the prices. The old-fashioned way, if you lose service or you haven't looked it up, is at a quarter tank. I just start paying attention to the prices. But I think for a good meal, if you're going the Maps route, you know, you look at what's open now, what's highly rated, what's on the way, or I like to go on the Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives website. They have, for everywhere that's been featured on the show, organized by state. So you look it up ahead of time, you drop those pins, and when you're driving, you can see where something is nearby, and they're always fun.
Really great idea. Okay, I'm taking copious mentally because we're road trippers. So thank you so much, Megan, for being with us.
Thank you, Megan. We appreciate it, and we'll be right back.